And in fact, this is, this isn't scheduled. One of our sponsors, one of the most inspiring people that I've ever met in Portland, is here with us. And I want to bring him to the stage. Bertony, come on out. Bertony, thank you for coming on out.
Oh, my pleasure.
This was unplanned. Like, you gave me a text at around 8 o'clock today.
Correct.
Asking for the address. And I'm so happy to have you here. You've been such an inspiring figure in my soul. Like, to my soul, to my spirit, and just like a reminder of what it is to be a creative here in Portland. But you're doing things on a different scale. You've got a documentary out.
Correct.
You're a winemaker. You own the only vineyard in Portland.
Correct.
You have your tasting room in North Plains,
yes,
Oregon, which is 20 minutes out of the city. And I'm happy to have you on the show. Let's talk about like Abbey Creek and how that all started.
Well, Abbey Creek started in 2008, and I always tell people the story was part tragedy and part opportunity. Mm-hmm. I'm originally from Brooklyn. My family's from Haiti. But in 99, I was trying to get to California, and obviously never made it. I'm here right now.
Yeah.
So, but I was working for anesthesiology at OHSU, and that's where I landed. Ended up meeting my wife here, starting a family, etc. But in 2007, my dad passed. Haitian immigrant, escaped from Haiti in '69, sent for my mom and the other two kids. Didn't speak the language, didn't have a high school degree, but needed to be successful in spite of. So in 2007, after he passed, I felt I was doing a disservice to his legacy. Okay. What's the typical narrative? Immigrant comes, have kids do better than the parents, etc. But was that enough?
Yeah.
And that's what it left me thinking and feeling. So I quit work. I say tragedy evokes change. Okay. And it's up to us, what that change is going to be. So I quit work. The Outlaws had about 5 acres of grapes. I call them the Outlaws.
The in-line.
I saw his face like, but I had about 5 acres of grapes that no one was using. It was planted for a tax deferral. We're actually in the West Hills of Portland, 10 minutes from St. John's. All of our neighbors planted Christmas trees. But I was looking around one day and it's like, you know what? I'm going to make wine. And you can imagine the non-drinker in the family, knew nothing about wine. And everybody was like, okay, go make wine, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's really how it began. I always think about, again, my dad. How many of us as adults would leave your home country,
right,
and go to start fresh? What happened? What was that moment that said, today I'm leaving? Unfortunately, we never had that conversation, and it's left me some kind of way right now. Actually, I'm working on a book. But that's kind of what pushed me, to go ahead and go against the grain, out of the norm. If Pops could do what he did back then, I could make some damn wine.
Man, that's
indeed. And I always tell people I didn't have a passion for wine. I didn't even drink.
Yeah.
But it was passion for the hustle.
Yeah.
I saw some grapes. I said, worst case, I'll make raisins. Fuck it.
Yeah.
That's where my mind was at.
Yeah.
Back then. But it wasn't really until 2015. Now I'm in the game for 7 years. Oregon is celebrating 50 years of winemaking. But all that we're talking about were the past,
right,
the legacies, the pedigrees, etc.
Right.
I'm there 7 years. I'm still open, so I'm doing something all right. And I figured no one was going to share my story. So that's when I decided to go ahead and produce the documentary, Red, White, and Black.
Yeah.
Which we just premiered at the Hollywood Theater. Yeah.
Congrats. Such a dope documentary.
Yeah, it was a sold out crowd. Now, Chris was invited to one of our private screenings, so he got in for free. So, but this was the first time we actually had people pay money to go see it, so the expectations were great.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. It was a good look. It was a good turnout. And it's not just about myself, but other people of color, women, LGBTQ. I always talk about Remy, who's in the documentary. She's a woman and a lesbian, but imagine how many times she has to answer, does your husband make wine? And that's shitty narrative that the industry paints is also what's exclusive as well. You know, the exclusion comes from that. You know, so I'm all about changing the world by changing the game.
You absolutely are. And something you say to me all the time, like, I look at you as a mentor, and something that inspires me so much is, like, you're doing it to pave the way for others.
Well, of course. It's not as important about being the first, but it's more so about making sure I'm not the last. You know, and that's kind of what I do. And then I was just telling somebody about you, but and twofold, Chris, you give me hope. You know, I've got an 11 and a 9-year-old. You know, and seeing Chris doing his thing, you know, everything you do, it's like I saw you say, I want to do a show, and then the next week you had a show. You know, so if people would hustle at least half as hard.
Yeah.
You know, I think the world would be so much of a better place.
Yeah.
But no, it gives me hope that it won't be all fucked up for my kids when, you know, when I'm gone, you know, as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and to me, everybody can talk about things that they're unhappy about, but what are you going to do about it?
Right.
You know,
right.
So many of us are just sleepwalking,
totally.
you know, through time. But, you know, if just because you're alive doesn't mean you're living.
Right.
And we got to live each day. I was talking to your guest, Danny V.
Okay.
You know, it's about being vulnerable, putting yourself out there. You know, and once you accept that, own who you are, shit is easy after that.
Yeah.
You know, it's all easy, man. So.
Yeah, but those are big steps, and I think it's important that creative artists. Hopefully, we've got an audience of creative artists. You know what? You know how Nike says that everybody is an athlete?
Correct.
I feel like everybody in Portland is a creative artist and needs to accept that in their lives, accept the weird, and embrace the things that you could contribute to our community. Bertony, you're doing it so well. You're so inspiring. I'm so happy. Like I said, you just came in, and I just had to get you on camera.
Well, I appreciate it.
One more thing. Next week's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
My birthday's on April 7th, and I was just thinking, well, that's on a Saturday, and your winery's open Saturdays and Sundays.
Imagine that. Come on down.
I'm thinking Sunday, April 8th. Maybe I'll make an event today, but you just inspired me. I've got a big old truck, so if anybody doesn't have a ride, just hit me up. I'm going to take you out to a winery. Your wine's amazing. I had the Diva for the first time. Can we talk about... Okay, I want to be quick with all this, but like, there's so much heat that you carry. Can we talk about the
sure.
Diva?
Well, I do a thing called Wines for a Cause. Sure, Abbey Creek could make whatever, but what am I doing? You know, again, why not use the platform, you know, to help others, you know, on the come up. So this whole lineup of Wines for a Cause, it always we share proceeds with a nonprofit, etc. And it's more than just cutting them a check. It's about them partnering up with us. They design the label. They do the marketing and the sales of the wines. This is my making a difference while making a living.
Yeah.
You know, so it's putting that onus on you as well to take some ownership. Everyone always tries to trade wine for exposure. I've got exposure coming out the ass. I'm good. You know, so now let's just talk dollars, you know, and then that's where, you know, it comes up. I don't mind helping, but, you know, we've got to work together. We've got to partner up. And then that's where you see the value.
Yeah. And that all goes to the Delta House in Overlook Park.
Yeah, they have the True Community Center.
Yeah.
You know, where they actually, it was an old gas station that they converted to this green building, you know, and they're helping, you know, anywhere from the little ones to the oldest, you know, so it's an amazing look, man, you know, so.
You're absolutely paving ways. And if anybody wants to know more about Bertony, you got to check out the Lost in Portland podcast. You were the second guest on my second season, and what a great way to, like, break open the season. The theme of it was Oregon Black Pioneers.
Correct.
And you are the first Oregon Black winemaker.
Indeed.
And I think it's obvious to say that you're doing more than what's necessary. You're doing it for the community. You're doing it for the love. And there's this never-ending fight that you have for you to do better. And that's what I love about you.
What's next? You know, it's all about what's next. I always reflect the song by Benjamin Clementine, and it starts off with, you know, we all make a living by what we get, but we make life by what we give. You know, and if we all start giving first, you know, everyone would be taken care of. So, just trying to lead by example, man. That's all.
You blow my mind.
Right on.
Bertony.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for coming out.